In the last question, we're showing a graph of tan x between minus 180 and 180, and we're asked to draw the graph of tan x plus 30. So what does this x plus 30 do? Well, we said if it's inside the brackets, it's affecting the x coordinates, and if it's plus 30, then it's moving it 30 degrees to the left. So everything should shift 30 to the left. So pick a few key points to make sure you're doing it accurately. So I usually pick wherever it crosses the x-axis, they're nice and clear. And then you can see a couple of other points which are quite clear, and I'm going to move these ones. So everything needs to move 30 this way. So 0, go there, 30 back. So it's basically one square backwards. Everything needs to move one square backwards. We move one square back here and one square back here. And we try and keep it as neat as possible. So this is about halfway across those two. So it's going to start about halfway across those two. Now you're going to do this neater than I am if you're not using a graphics tablet. It's going to cross there and then up again about halfway there, and then this one, well, this is going to be back off the graph, so we can't put that bit on, but it's going to look something like that. And then again, it's about halfway across this square, so we need to be halfway across this square, join it up, join it up, join it up there, and then coming off over here somewhere off the graph. Okay. The next question, I won't change the screen, but the next question said describe fully the single transformation which maps the black graph onto the red graph. So it's basically just describing what you've just done. So again, if you've already done transformations, then this is a translation. It's just a direct movement, and it's to the left. So if as we put it as vector notation, it'll be minus 30 because it's 30 degrees left. And it hasn't shifted up or down at all, so it'd be 0 on the bottom. If you haven't covered that yet, I think chances are you haven't, then you could just describe it by saying something like shift graph 30 degrees left, or subtract 30 degrees from all x coordinates. So a few different ways to describe that. This would be the preferred, but if you haven't covered it yet, then I guess you wouldn't know. For the last question on the test, we're asked to solve the equation tan x equals minus root 3 on the domain minus 180 to 180. If we leave that to one side for now, if we're trying to solve this, tan x equals minus root 3, well, if I'm trying to get the x on its own, the opposite of tan is tan to the minus 1, or inverse tan. And if you do inverse tan of minus root 3 on a calculator, then you're going to get one of the solutions, which is going to come out as minus 60. Okay. When you're doing inverse tan, it's only going to give you the answer nearest to 0. So if we have a look on the graph, minus 60 is here. So we can see that the tan graph exists at this point. So negative, this is a little bit inaccurate, but negative root 3 will be somewhere down here. Okay, and I can see that not only does that line cross the tan graph at negative 60, it also crosses it again up here at positive 120. So for 2 marks, you needed to put negative 60 for one, and then positive 120 for the other.